when you're on a set training a pretty well-known celebrity or a huge well-known celebrity like a Mark Wahlberg type of that level, you can't exactly like walk down the street into a 24-hour fitness and catch a workout, or can you? I mean,
well, it's not that hasn't been done before, but it is the layout of the land. No matter what set you're on, it is the environment is always changing. Let's say we got to train at 4 a.m. because our call time's at 6 a.m. Well, a lot of gyms aren't open. And then moreover, it's so inconvenient to just, all right, we got to travel here. We got to travel here. And then privacy. That's exactly it.
I mean, you're working with people are stalking around the corner, paparazzi fans, where, it's not that simple to, just walk into a public place and not have a million people come up and ask for autographs with some of your clients. And they don't want to be rude, I'm sure, but you want to focus and work out. You want to train them. So I'm sure you have your preferences.
Yeah. I think it's all that temperature of like where we're at. When we're in go zone, it is part of the boundaries that you must create as a coach for, whoever your client is. And that is part of that workout regimen. You want to make sure you leave all those distractions out of the equation when you're in focus mode, for sure. The craziest location we've trained was in Toronto. It was so freaking cold. And just the walk alone to the gym already, we're like, yeah, that's crazy to bundle up that much and then have to we're just going to do everything in the living room.
What movie was that for, and what movie, and who were you there with, and how long?
Toronto. That was Mark Wahlberg and Mila Kunis, and it was a great time, man. That was a fun movie to shoot.
Yeah, but he gets now I heard he gets your ass up early. Like, I know you train a lot of different celebrities and stuff, but I mean, Wahlberg does these like 4 a.m. club. And I've seen online a couple things where like you're sometimes there in the background. I could see you're like,
well, it's the Mark has always done it first thing in the morning. And when we first started,
4 a.m., man, that's not first thing. That's like late the previous night. I don't know if that's early that morning or still like,
right? Just to get it in and get it out of the way. First things first, you swallow the frog first thing in the morning. You know what I mean? And, he's got kids to take care of, as do, and they're up early. The young ones are always up early. And then I moved further away from Mark, and, that traffic on the 405 trying to get home, at 7:30 a.m. I'm like, I can't do it. I got to get home for the kids. I got to be on the road by 6:30. Well, the only way that's going to work is we start at 4 a.m. And so that's how the official 4 a.m. clubs are. All the stories out there can say what they want, but it was we're the original 4 a.m. club, and it was because to accommodate traffic in LA.
You know who I've watched and I personally like a lot, just watching him on like whether it's YouTube videos, and I just kind of buy into him a lot, is The Rock and his training ethic, and he lives it and looks it. And I've watched some of his own workout videos, but I do love his inspiration, his motivation. And I've seen him talking about in some videos where like at this point when he travels for a movie, and I don't know if have you ever worked with him?
Yes. Well, he was in Pain and Gain with Mark. So I worked along with him. And then also Game Plan was our very first time we worked together in the Disney movie where he played the football player. And that was our choreography.
These days I've seen, I mean, he has like 3 or 2 18-wheelers of gym equipment. I mean, that dude, his own gym goes where he goes. And it's insane. Like I've watched a video of them like said, it's like the circus comes to town of like gym, and he's got his own like, House of Pain or whatever he calls it. That's pretty freaking impressive. And I'm like, how is this dude always working out in the same gym? I'm like, holy shit, it's mobile.
So we have a couple trainers full of equipment, and it just, as we start to train more and more, with a lot of the roles Mark was doing, it was just became functional more so, as far as like, hey, we don't really need a whole truck to carry kettlebells, some straps, a band, and, the boxing mitts and stuff like that. It's such a different type of physique when you lay out a bodybuilder's physique versus the athlete's physique, right?
Yeah.
So it is that same training principle too. The bodybuilder, I mean, look, when you've cooked in the kitchen and you fall in love with your toys, I mean, you want to have all of them that got you there, and that's part of that is part of that collection. I would say for The Rock is, wow, it's just such a
Oh, he got everything.
megaplex of
Yeah, you look
toys.
at that and you're like, you got to remind yourself the dude makes like 100 million a film or something. He can get those toys. I go online, I'll go to
Yeah.
like, Rogue Fitness and be like, oh man, I saw something like that on the rock. Type in this, it's like $8,000. And like, oh,
You're
really?
like,
Yeah, it's not even, it's not really gonna happen, man. I'll just like do sit ups on the floor like a normal human. So when you work out with Mark and he brings a friend, and maybe it's not
yeah,
someone who's in the same shape you or Mark are or The Rock, because you guys are pretty
yeah.
elite, but say you bring like an everyday average guy who wants to get a workout. Do you guys like, just kind of ease him in, or you guys like just beat the piss out of him like he's like one of you crazy bastards and just be like,
No,
keep up?
it's okay. Well, I mean, like there's been it's again all dependent on the victim. I mean, person. So if Mark brought over, for example, Octavia Spencer, to get a assessment, see how she's doing, where are we going, next steps, and there's no way in heck he's going to break her down. We did the whole professional thing, assess the movement, all of the pieces of the before picture and objective measurements, et cetera, et cetera. We did it professionally, right? And then you get somebody else who's just like, hey, this is going to be a co-star coming up. What's going on? Let's just see how you do.
Got to
Come
beat
over
him down a
here.
little bit, let him know.
And then it's
Let him
just
know he's
one
got the
big beat
co.
down. Oh yeah. Anthony Mackie was also in Pain and Gain. And he wasn't given a lot of notice to start bulking up. So he was working out with us in the beginning over in Florida. And I remember the first time Mark brought him in, Mark just pounded him. He just kept loading up plates. The guy couldn't even get another rep and he's still loading on more plates. He's like, and Mark's just like, come on, it's just time under tension. Let's go. It was funny to see. And at the same time, it's the methodology is to, hey, I'm going to put you under the pressure a little bit and we're going to become bros from it.
But
I'm not going to make this comfortable. We're going to make it uncomfortable.
But you know what I like, Brian, why I like chatting with you and I've known you for a while and we've hung out and stuff, and you have this
Yeah.
energy and I see that too when I see, the videos of you and Mark training, is that you guys are really, pushing each other and you push yourself. And how old are you now?
44 this next
Right.
Friday.
So you're 44. Mark, I think, is getting close to 50.
Today is his birthday. He's 49.
49, and a happy birthday to him. So
Yeah, happy birthday, Mark.
you can look at someone like yourself, someone like Mark, and a lot of other people that you've trained with, and that's natural. That is hard work. That is sweat. That is dedication. And like what you just said about that other story with Mark and his co-star, it's just that mental push, and that is one of the areas I know is a big area for you, is that positive mental fortitude, and motivation is a big part of what you bring to your training program and clients, isn't it?
Absolutely. If you can't really own the fact that you're there for the journey, it is a completion of a circle. I'm not here for my clients. I'm here for my story, my personal want to be a part of something bigger than I am. I started fitness industry in the sports medicine world. I was running out to the field, taping ankles, mixing Gatorade. Why? Because I wanted to ride the bus to Long Beach to go to the volleyball games and say that I sat with the bench and I won with the team. And there's my picture with the team. And I was there and I was with them. And I was, when I go back and show the pictures and everybody can see that I was part of UCLA sports medicine, like all of that stuff, to me, it was just being and acting upon the things that I believe were my gifts. Like I could keep the team together. If I'm not part of the solution, I'm part of the goddamn problem.
Well, you have like this philosophy about you, and your fitness and everything you do is philosophical. And when everyone was saying today around our office here, and most of the people in the office who had met you before here remembered, oh man, fitness guy, trains this person and that person. He's so philosophical, and he has like the whole philosophy, and that's a big part. And then, of course, Dana, my producer, was like, "Oh, can you ask him if I can lick Mark Wahlberg's abs, please? This time, please." It's Dana.
Yes, Dana.
She's gonna get mad.
Aww.
It's very true. I had to at least call her out on that. When it comes down to ab training and core and things like that. Was there ever a movie or a challenge or a role where whether a studio or client had said to you, hey, Brian, man, got this role, got to go from this to this, whatever it was, this window of time. And you're like thinking to yourself, man, we gotta, this could be interesting.
See, the thing is, it's not a guess. That's not a guess thing, right? I mean, I have every single toy in the world. I got a $12,000 thing to do body impedance, and it's science. I can already tell you based off of, okay, where have you been, how much muscle you have, how old you are, and then once I do my assessment on how good your core actually works, how well your core works, I know for the most part how long it'll take to drop 2 gene sizes. I mean,
So it's pretty formulaic for you, basically. You're saying that
yes.
if someone comes to you, a client, or it could be
Uh-huh.
someone off the street. I mean, not that someone off the street is going to find you or be able to work with you anyway, or be able to afford you. I know I can't, but I get to know you anyway, so it's fun. So I get to come hang out.
Buddy, you're crazy. You can
But
afford me too.
you're philosophical, man. We were at the office one time and we were talking about a chest workout. And we're
Yeah,
going on and stuff, and then
yeah.
I felt like enlightened, and I felt like spiritual, and I felt lifted. And then I realized afterwards I never asked you what to do for my chest. I'm like,
The biggest change I make for people is because when you ask a coach to take you to, I want to go to 8% body fat, most everybody in our world, in our, ego mind is just going to say, look, I need a coach to take me from point A to point B, right? And that's a very horizontal plane. It's here to there. The thing that people need most, though, is a coach to bring them on a vertical plane. In meaning that I need to take you from how you feel about yourself here and how to take yourself and respect yourself more here. I can't take you from point A to point B. That's you. I must take you from yourself here into a higher version of yourself in order for you to go along. And there are so many of those tactics that, what is the motivation?
well, and the motivation. I mean, you obviously are a hugely motivating, person. When you have a bunch of elite athletes, what's the difference between first place and 10th place
Mm-hmm,
in an event? And it's mental. It comes down to preparation, but it also
mm-hmm,
comes down to mental. And we say that here. I mean, at an ad agency, I've said to my team time and time again that I could not care less if we, go after a big project, and if we don't get it, I say, but if we don't get it, I'd rather know that we weren't even close and that we just went the wrong direction and missed, because in life, you're going to miss. As long as you swing your hardest and you get up quick, you're going to get the next one or the one
exactly.
after that. And everyone knows the things that piss me off the most, and we don't really pitch projects anymore. We're fortunate that way, but if we do, or when we used to, is it would piss me off the most if someone would call and say, we really were so close. We were torn. It was between you and another group, and it was tough. And we almost had to flip a coin, and
Mm-hmm.
we went with the other group. And my team, or some people would say, who didn't know me well enough at the time, would say, "See, it was close. Good job, everyone." And Pat, we were close, and that would make me livid.
Mm.
And I'd just say, I would rather have been so freaking far off and have them say, man, you guys were out of left field. As long as we go out, pick a direction and go, and then go full steam. But to lose by like a coin toss or a hair, that means that we were there, but we weren't, that much creative to push it over the line, or we didn't, go one extra inch. And same thing, you see these races, and I know it's really hard, and you see like one guy leans forward and crosses the finish line, and
Mm-hmm.
someone's got to win and someone's got to lose. It's good to kick yourself in the ass, and say, you know what, this feeling sucks, losing sucks, I hate it,
Yeah.
remember this and never let it feel like this again. How are you going to do that? Control it. And, I think that's what's great about coaches like yourself is, you really don't let people forget that. It's going to take your output so much further with someone like you just being present.
I love hearing that saying, because I've been there. I've been in Secular. I was there on the sidelines when Tennessee, beat the Jaguars on their road to the Super Bowl, and that was the year, man. I was like, oh my God, we're gonna go to the show, and it's only my second year here. I was so happy, but uh, it, to this day, I can still remember the pit, that stomach feeling of that loss. And but oh my gosh, now when you look at it, and I think back about it, I was like, man, I learned so much in that defeat, despite the loss.
Yeah.
Seeing that side, and the way I love the best way it's said is, you're never experiencing the thing, you're experiencing the thoughts of the thing.
Balancing what is skill and what is motivation, what is physical and what
Yes.
is mental. Let's talk about the current climate, though.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to, well, I mean, all of a sudden we've gone from, with COVID and
Hmm.
being shut down, and now, one of the first things to get shut down, understandably so, is gyms across the
Yeah.
country. Do you think that even once things start to reopen, there's obviously going to be a lot of restrictions and limitations. There are in the places where gyms have opened in those states, and whether it's masks and social distancing. In some places, I've seen that gyms, you have to make an appointment in advance because they can only have
Yeah.
25%. Do you think that you're going to see a big decline in that world as they reopen for people who are just saying, "Hey, man, I could set this up in my garage"? What are you feeling and seeing and
Well, that's
sensing as you
essentially
speak?
what's happening. People are going to be staying away for the most part.
Yeah,
I think people really did gains for the people that love moving, that were gym goers in the first place. They built gyms in their home, and some of them
yeah,
prefer it now.
yeah,
And that's awesome. There's
yeah,
a generation that only know having this,
yeah,
and they are so used to being able to follow directions, instructions, and this being like another person. Now that I've done Zoom, and now I've done some one-on-ones on Zoom, there is so much that can channel through, whether it's a video or a follow-up,
yeah,
just to be seen, to be able to feel like you're a part of something. I think there are a lot of these, whether it's the Pelotons, the Nordic Track, all these models now, it's a group workout on their screens, right?
yeah.
Whether
It's
it's the
social and it's
mirror, yeah, you're trying to
motivation.
create this social aspect. And then the touch thing, it is the missing element. All right, we are designed for connection, and we are designed for feeling. And a coach, one of the greatest things that a corrective exercise specialist can do is to create nuances in how things feel. This is where
Yeah.
there will be a missing a thing, because really great coaching does need cueing in a tactile form.
Well,
it,
yeah.
it just can not get done, especially when people have, this day and age, most people are very like this. Before, this was the client that, didn't have the cell phone back in the day. You could start training.
Yeah.
Today, this is the client, and
Tech
that
neck.
changes
That's the
everything.
tech neck right there. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's so much, right? You have a 20 something pound head fall forward. Because
Yeah.
of that, the core turns off here. You have upper cross, lower cross. We get sciencey,
You're
but
making me
that
sit up
changes
more.
everything.
You're making
And,
me sit up more.
and that's what these apps and that's what these other programs do not take into account. So
Yeah.
yes, you will have in my opinion, a surge of the boutique gyms
Yeah.
slash recovery centers are going to be freaking huge.
Yeah.
Recovery.
I agree with you, because I think, and I'm not trying to bash anyone's business, and I don't have any insights, but I think the gyms and the chains like Equinox and the really big,
Uh-huh.
I think they're going to have a serious problem. And I think they probably
Mm-hmm.
know it already, because those gyms and those chains are designed for the complete opposite of what is going to be remotely
Yes.
realistic for some time, which is, and you'd be there like January 2, you walk in and you're like crowd surfing anyway. And for me, what's really interesting is, was I started as soon as, they closed the gyms and started to see people getting sick and everything. What are you doing over there? Oh, she's trying to sneak up again and ask for Mark's abs. Just, you're supposed to be producing and taking notes and reminding me when I say something really good, so that you don't have to say later on, you messed the whole thing up again. Just so
What did she say? I didn't catch.
she said, "Did you see what I deal with? Do you see?" She said to me, she goes, "Do you mind if I sit in your office while you do this with Brian?" She goes, "Because instead of having to like go through everything afterwards and whatever, then I'll just, be there and I can have all the footage and know what made
That's
sense.
awesome.
And, you know, if you say something really stupid that you're going to like regret later in life or go to jail for, then I know I can
I know the
take it
time
out.
where we
And
can delete that. Yep.
yeah, so now she's like sitting in here and like, she's like, you know, making like noise and like keep sending me notes like, when can I, you know, see Mark Wahlberg's abs? And it's enough already, bro. So but no, so I'd be going to the gym, and I got like, you know, big headsets that would drown everyone out so nobody would
Mhm,
distract me. It kind of says, don't come up, talk to me, don't
mhm.
say hi, don't do that. And it's not to be rude, but it's like you do see a lot of people in the gym. Some are working out hard, and you see other people where you got to believe, man, they just went for the coffee and the water fountain and to say hi to people for 50 minutes. And you see, so that was the world I tried to get away from. And then
Yeah.
so all of a sudden when COVID started, and I started, you know, going into my garage, and I had like one or two pieces that I had bought over the years that were like my fail
Mm,
safe. If there's ever a day that I don't feel like driving to the gym or something comes up, or I only had a limited time, I could go out in the garage and do something functional. But
yeah.
I started adding a few pieces and like, okay, this could be, I thought it was gonna be a couple weeks. So I started
Yeah.
ordering a couple of things. Then all of a sudden I'd go online to order something from Amazon or whatever,
Sold
and
out.
you'd see it was sold out or it was
Yeah.
back. And I realized all of a sudden 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and you see this thing escalating, and then all of a sudden I'm like, man, I'm buying like weight plates on eBay. I'm buying like
Mhm.
all these different things, and what started to happen is, man, about a month into it, I was looking at like, first of all, this is going to be a while. And second of all, seeing what we're seeing, am I even going to want to go back to a gym?
Yep.
Am I going to want to go back to a big public place? So I kind of just went all in and was like, all right, I'm going to, you know, kind of do my garage. It's kind of become a hobby obsession. And I started like even on
Hell
YouTube seeing these shows like,
yeah.
have you ever watched this thing called Garage Gym on YouTube? And you see like what each
Yeah.
person's, and some of these guys are rad. Some of these guys like take like a
Yeah.
barn in the Midwest and it's like nicer than my house, and they convert it into a gym that looks like you can hold the CrossFit, you know, national headquarters there.
Absolutely.
But it is, and you're looking at all these things. Like I bought something the other day, and we don't endorse anything or get paid for endorsing anything.
Yeah.
In fact, I probably sound like an idiot for saying I bought it because it was so expensive. But I bought this thing called the Kabuki bar. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah. I love the Kabuki bar. Are
Okay,
you
good.
crazy?
Well,
Oh my God. Kabuki
mine hasn't
strength. Those
come yet,
guys are
but
awesome.
so I've been looking at it for a while now. I mean, the thing
Yeah.
probably
I
costs as
bought
much
their
as a year.
shoulder rock. Not to talk too much about the Kabuki, but we're on the same wavelength.
What is the shoulder rock? I bought the Cadillac bar. That's why I just got the Cadillac
Yeah.
bar.
Oh
It's like
no.
the
It's like a mace bell.
oh
But
yeah,
it's a long stick with the weight in the end, and you
yeah,
do those halo motions with the
oh
shoulder.
yeah,
It's a really good
yeah,
tempo, but a lot of people just
yeah,
don't have. So it's one of those things where built and
yeah.
designed by the brutes
So
that
I
this is the tool that
I
they
just got some
use.
maces. I got some mace clubs,
Yeah.
and I've got some bat clubs from a different place that I
Nice.
actually saw on Amazon. But I got a Kabuki bar was my latest, you know, splurge to myself.
Very
And
nice.
yeah, and a lot of my stuff is like super. Like what I have in the garage is you know, I've got this hyper extension machine, which was probably the smartest thing I ever did. I bought
Mm.
it from Rogue about 3 or 4 years ago. And that was the one staple in my garage. And it's funny because a lot of people look at a hyper extension machine and it's like, oh, you can do like one thing front, one thing back. Okay. But really, when you think about it, it's got so many different pieces to it and bars and components that when you get
Oh,
bands, and I'm a
it's
big fan of bands over the years. I mean, I like
mm.
weights too, and you buy these bands that come in all these shapes and sizes and $20 for a pack, except when they're sold out during COVID. And you know, you walk into my garage and I've got like 19 bands from every angle. And it's like in 2 seconds, if I want to be working glutes or a certain part of the
Uh-huh.
shoulder or the arm, and you know, I don't care what you say or who you think you are. I mean, you can have bands that have 100 pounds of resistance, 100 pounds on a
Yeah.
band and 100 pounds on a dumbbell. The math's to math. And it's, you know, it's
Yeah.
just the range. So it really kind of became this quirky thing. And that's when I reached out to you too. And I'm like, man, I've got this new passion, freaking garage gym that I'm building. I probably spend more time piecing it together and obsessing over what I want to add than I do working out in it, which I should be spending longer each day. And but that's been my thing, man. That's my
Yeah,
new
you keep
jam.
going, man. I have toys. I'm gonna donate to your cause. I
Oh,
have
I
a
love
like
it.
you should see the crapola I have here. I have if
We have
anything
anything
that
good that you're going to donate, or just the old shit? I
oh
mean, come on now.
yeah, are you crazy? I don't hold on to crap stuff. I hold on
Yeah,
to all the good stuff. Yeah.
yeah,
The but yeah, these parallettes. I love do you have any parallettes yet? Have you
No, what's
made
a
any of
parallel?
those?
Show me. Do you have one nearby?
Parallettes.
Show me.
Oh
Can you
my
pull in?
God, yeah. This is one of my favorites. This is one of them, the Libra
Oh, those are.
Equalizer, right? This is pretty badass. I've been
I
doing a few
like that.
workouts on my Instagram, Dragon Master
So,
Bride. For those of you
what do
guys
you
who
do?
don't
Wait,
know that.
show me how you use those.
Oh, 100 uses. That's like asking a chef, hey, how do you use this thing called the ladle? You don't just, I mean, you everything. I can start doing some some rollouts. I can start doing some rear foot elevated stuff. It could be mobility. I could be crawling over and under this thing. I could just be doing jumps, jumping over. I can lay it down. I got myself a little ladder here with that. It can be up at top.
Nice.
I can hold this bar. I can pick it up and I can have a band attached to there. So I'm pulling it. So even if I'm doing a shoulder overhead press with this being pulled to the right, you can imagine the different torques. So different positions. I can put a band here. I can get some extra core on the torque.
I love that, man. I
So
love
many
that.
different things,
And it's so
right?
fun. See, what I love what you just showed, and this is what's been really enjoyable for me about the garage aspect of it,
Yeah.
is functionality. Everything
Yeah.
that you're doing is so functional. And that's the thing I like about your training style and philosophy. And when I look at the people you train, they're very balanced. Look at you. I mean, you're a freaking machine, and I've seen you
Thanks,
without
brother.
your shirt on before. I should make you show us your abs, man. Your abs are freaking sick. I need look at these. Oh my,
I still got
come
work
on.
to do. It was early COVID times. I was drinking every day tequila, and it was getting pretty bad. And then I realized, oh my God, summer's coming around. I got to get back to it. So I've been clean for 2 weeks now, and
You,
it started to come back. So
that's my whole
the
thing. It's I either have my tequila
the
physique or my
core work.
non-tequila physique.
When you talk about the gym, right, and all these toys, I mean, it is right. You've learned how to fall in love with moving again.
Yeah.
And it really is that little piece of the puzzle that everybody can experience. That's what it is. We get so caught up in this thing that we rarely think about movement and the
Moving. Yeah.
practice of movement as a recovery tool. And it is.
Yeah.
Just like the meditation, just like the freaking masturbation, working out is a recovery tool.
Wait, did you say masturbation?
Well, it may have slipped out. Yeah. I
How did
said along
masturbation
with
make it into this? And I'm not cutting you off. If you want to go
I was
down a
talking
different
about
path,
recovery. There's so many different things a person can do to
I'm
recover,
just
whether that's
like,
sleeping
are
more,
we going like
whether
the
that's
Dr.
this.
Ruth? Is this like the Dr. Ruth show with Brian Nguyen?
Hey,
Brian?
I'm being totally honest and transparent that there are people out there, right?
But that, it is cool though, the functionality and the planes of motion. That's what I found about
Yes.
working out in, like, because again, when you are at the big gyms, and some are better than others, and have, and they have to put in equipment for the masses. They can't, unless it's a boutique gym like you're saying, or run by someone like yourself who's piecing it out, but they're buying in mass and big bulk and stuff like that. Whereas, when you're doing it yourself, you have everything in your range. And again, like, I do things right now for like areas of my shoulder, angles of my shoulder, that there are no machines at the gym that do that. And you just kind of find your own ways, and you really start to come up with balance where your back feels better. You sit there and you think to yourself, look, there's so many, talking about the maces, functional things, so that if you're helping a friend move, or if your wife says, hey, I need you to bring this in from the car, even like with kids, you're bringing your kids in and out of the car seat, the drill. How old's your boy now?
My boy's going to be 3 in July.
So, I mean, kids take more of a toll on your body than,
Absolutely.
We have a minivan. My wife has a minivan. And the joke of it is, when we put the twins, who are 3, in the back seats, it's like whatever, the 7th row, I get stuck, and they think it's the funniest thing in the world. I literally can't. My shoulders get like, so I get caught and I could barely reach, and they're laughing. They think it's a game. I'm like, oh, and I'm trying to get them out, and I'm like, come on, kid, little help. And it's like, you know how to push the button. They think it's great. They're like, I'm like, no, seriously, man. It's like, it's hot in here. I'm suffocating. Daddy doesn't like this game. I can't leave you in the car. It makes me a bad parent. Like, come on. And, but from a functionality standpoint, I'm telling you, if that was like a year ago, when I would go to the gym and do the same 7 or 8 movements, day one, Monday this, Tuesday that, Wednesday, Thursday that. And, yesterday I walked into my garage and I took out like this sling strap that I got. put in like a big 20-pound smash ball and was just doing squats and I'm knocking my mic here and going from side to side from my core, going up in the air, squats and shoulders, and so much more to it. And I
Yep.
do feel that in everyday life now, that if I move in a certain direction, it feels normal, like my body's meant to do that.
This is how the stories change for so many people out there. I think, there are so many pros and cons to social media. But ultimately, the biggest thing that's happened because of the social media is this acceptance of what is movement.
Yeah.
Instead of thinking about this, hey, you know what? I saw a great post the other day. It was so funny. It's like a squat is a squat, right? No, you have the power lifter squat. You guys gonna built up. Squat. It's all technical. And then you have the Olympic lifter squat. And then you have the CrossFitter squat. You have the functional trainer squat, which is okay. Let's do this single leg pistol squat. It's like a squat is a squat.
Talking about movement, I mean, to cut you off, it's harder when it's remote too,
Yeah.
because there's a voice lag. But you are so freaking spaz all over the board, which I love about you, and ADD, and all these are wonderful things, by the way. And
Thank you.
I've watched your earplugs fly out like 9 times, and
Yeah.
it's so cool. It's like, because you just start, and that's what I love, man, because I've been around. I mean, you are not hopped up on anything. You're like the most natural freaking guy I know, and you just have this energy for life, and that's what I'm talking about, where and your earphones go flying, and you don't stop. You got it back up. And you just keep moving, and that energy is infectious, and I can see why. I mean, I get that. Look, if you're someone like Mark Wahlberg with 150 kids and the whole world that wants you every 2 seconds, and you've got very little time for yourself, I don't want someone coming in to train me who's like, yeah, here's the problems in my life. Oh, I'm so tired and this and that. I mean, you want the Energizer Bunny. You want someone who just, and that is what I can see why you found such a niche working with so many actors and celebrities, because you just
Thanks,
have this
brother.
freaking
Thank you.
real, but it's the real thing. I mean,
one of the things that I love about you, Drew, is you always you reference people that you in the past, people you've learned from, and you continually bring up things about me that, it's so. First of all, thank you so much, and it is the same thing I reflect back to you. I think, your energy and your wanting and desire to learn and share and inspire other people with that information is awesome. For people to notice the greatness that I have, or what we could be, let's say you notice my energy, I'm up, and you like that. Well, that is an energy that you yourself carry. Otherwise, you would have never noticed it in me. And that's the thing that I remind so many coaches to find the same. You must create your clientele by being wholeheartedly you. Yeah, and it's one of those pieces of the puzzle, right? I'm gonna get this certification. That's gonna give me more clients. I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna buy this tool and learn this tool, and then I'm gonna teach them, and that's gonna get me more clients. No, the biggest tool anybody ever had as a father, as a coach, because we're all inherently coaches. We all need coaches. We all need somebody to look up and show us how to do something. What you really need is someone to just be there and invest that appreciation. Dale Carnegie wrote that book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Fell in love with it at a very, very early career. I mean, I read at UCLA. I was like, hell yeah, I want to win friends. I need that. So I freaking read the book, but really boils down. It's like, do you appreciate others? Do you actually appreciate your clients? Because they're the ones that bring you to greatness as a coach. If they didn't listen to your, how do you evolve? If you don't ask for feedback,
But Brian, look at you and look at the passion energy you're saying that. And my biggest pet peeve with a lot of non-Brians, and again, there's not a lot of you out there, and that's why you're as successful as you are. You go into these gyms and you see some of these people who are spending their hard-earned money. It's not cheap. A lot of times the health club's charging twice as much because they half, the trainer only gets half. So, and then, you see these things where they're working out and the trainer's sitting there
Yeah.
texting, uploading
Yeah.
photos, laughing, have not the whatever. And I've seen that a million times where that, or you'll hear the trainer sharing life stories with them. Oh, and then my girlfriend said this, or I've literally heard some of these guys. Oh, it was my birthday. I was out too late last night drinking,
Yeah.
and it's like, and I'm just like, holy. And again, that's anything in life. You
You're
have
right.
people every profession who are passionate, and
Uh-huh.
this is what they'd be doing whether it paid $1 an hour or $1 million an hour. And then you have people who are there because it's the next job till they figure out what else they're going to do. But that's why
You
I
just
think in
said it
your
right
case,
there. Yeah. You just hit it
yeah,
on the head right there. Someone said, be the coach you wish you had.
I
Right.
love that. I
But
love that. Well, and look, you have your boy is 3, and I've
yeah.
seen pictures and video, but of him in your gym, so he's already seeing what an influence, the role model of taking care of himself, getting stronger, being healthy. I love that my
Mhm.
my boy is 4, and I call him the Hulk, and that's his favorite cartoon character. But
Yeah.
I mean, he's just a solid little dude, and he comes in through the garage. He's like, "Dad, what you doing?" He's letting talk,
Uh-huh.
and he sees the bands, and and he'll pick something up. Like, first of all, like, I'm like, "Oh, how do you live that up, dude?" And then I'm like, "All right, you don't drop it on your head. You put it this way." And he's just so inquisitive. And
Yeah.
he's, well, how do you that? What do you use that? Like, what that for? And I love that his world is seeing something good and positive, so that balance. So he just knows that as he gets older, that's something you just incorporate
We
into your
need
everyday
more.
life. And I love seeing
We
you and
need
your
more
son that
fathers
way.
like you, Drew. It's caught, not taught. If you want your kids to be active, you got to be active. There's no such thing as the kid.
But,
Hey, I bought you the PlayStation virtual reality so you could go there and play. Now leave me alone while I binge on my
right,
Netflix. Just doesn't
right.
work.
No, no,
They're seeing exactly what is programmed, in the world already. So, we can
no.
go into a whole nother episode on,
We will have
on,
to, because we're
yeah.
the next one we'll do another one where I'll have you over to my garage gym, but maybe in a month, because right now in my living room, not my living room, my entryway, I got about 8 boxes of metal showed up, and I'm building like a rig and a rack, and I'm trying to piece it together this weekend. So
Nice.
when I have the unveiling, I'll invite you over, and we'll do our next thing.
Yeah.
And we'll kick it together. We'll do some functional training. We'll do another episode. And I know you have your website. Remind us what that is. We want to put it up on the screen because people are
Oh,
going to want
thank
to
you
know
very
more
much.
about you.
Right now, I've just been using my social media handle, just Dragon Master Bry on Instagram. Is the
All right,
best
we'll
place
put
to
that up.
find
Dragon
me.
Master
And
Bry. We'll put it up
yeah,
in big
I love
graphics.
interacting.
Can't wait to hang out with you again. And I'm glad you're doing great.
I
Your
can't
boy's a
wait to
rock
train in
star. Your
that gym
wife's a
with
rock
you.
star.
I'm looking forward to it, Drew. Thank you very much
Thank you,
for having me
Brian.
today, brother. Thank you so much.